In today's video, I'll use my 20 years of elite goalkeeping experience to suit you up with all the tools and techniques you need to confidently handle those high-flying crosses. Plus, I'll share some insights on how to improve your positioning, footwork, and overall body control. But before we get down to business of actually catching crosses, let's first talk about where we need to be positioned before the cross comes in. And good positioning might seem obvious to you, but it's so important and it makes handling those crosses much easier. And you might have heard this one before, but generally speaking, when it's an in-swinging cross, when the ball is curving towards your goal, you need to stay a bit closer to your line, because the last thing you want is the ball sailing over your head and finding the back of the net. And for out-swinging crosses, when the ball is bending away from your goal, you can step a bit further off your line, but remember, don't get too adventurous. You always need to be able to recover quickly back to your line in case the cross takes a different turn, or maybe the attacker decides to shoot instead of crossing the ball. After all, our main job as goalkeepers is to keep the ball out of the net, not necessarily catch every single cross. And for the most part, you want to be positioned centrally in your goal with your body open and facing the field, because if you face the crosser directly, moving backwards for those crosses in the back area of the goal becomes really difficult. So very important, guys, open up your body and face the field when the cross comes in from the side. This way you can react quickly to anything that comes your way, be it in front of you or behind you. There will be times though where you need to adjust your position based on what the attacker does. For example, if the attacker is inside your 18-yard box and keeps dribbling towards your goal, then you want to shift your position closer to the near post with your shoulders directly facing the attacker. In this situation, the attacker will most likely try to shoot, whip in a hard low pass to your front area, penalty spot, or try to lob the ball over your head to the back area. And by positioning at your front post, you can help your team out by cutting out the low pass, and you still have time to recover and adjust your position if you can't reach the ball. But do not step too far in front of your post. This will not only rob you of crucial reaction time, but it will also make recovering much more difficult. The key thing here to remember is to start with these basics and get comfortable with them. And once you're confident in your positioning, then you can start experimenting to see what works best for you and your playing style. Alright, now that you've nailed down your positioning, let's talk about actually claiming those crosses. And this might sound scary at first, but trust me, with a little practice and the right technique, you'll be snatching them out of the air like a hawk. First things first, when it comes to crosses and everything else in goalkeeping really, then you have to believe in yourself. When that cross comes sailing in, don't hesitate, be confident, be decisive, and attack the ball with authority. Show those attackers you own this area, and they better think twice before messing with you. Because we all know how easy and simple it is to take that step back to your goal line, hoping that your defenders will deal with the cross. It's so comfortable, right? But don't train yourself to be that goalkeeper. Just accept that mistakes will happen in the beginning. You might misjudge a ball, jump too early, or even get bumped by an attacker. Just treat it all like lessons. It's all part of the learning process. But if you never step out of your comfort zone and test your limits, you'll never truly know what you're capable of when it comes to crosses. Okay, so we talked about stepping out of your comfort zone, but there's a big difference in being brave and being reckless. Claiming crosses is all about control, and you don't want to start guessing and committing too early as soon as the ball leaves the attacker's foot. Because if you rush out too early, especially towards your near post, and the ball is aimed at the back area, you'll end up scrambling to get back in position, and the ball could just sail right over your head. And on the flip side, backing off too soon gives the striker a golden opportunity to meet the ball before you can even react. So when a cross comes in, take a deep breath. Watch the ball's trajectory for a split second. Is it dipping? Is it swerving? Is it near post, far post? Can you reach it? Fantastic. Go for it. Can't reach it? No problem. Fall back to your line and be ready for the next action. Trust me, knowing this will make all the difference between a clean catch and a flailing mess. But when we have decided to go for the ball, here's where things get interesting. Always start your approach with small, controlled steps as the ball travels through the air. This helps you build momentum and get your timing right. Then just before you reach the ball, take a powerful step to launch yourself up into the air with your outside knee up for protection and balance. And while it's true that you use your outside knee to protect yourself, you also use it to gain even more momentum when you're jumping. And you should always try to reach the ball at its highest point, so stretch your hands high with your fingers spread wide, forming a nice W shape, and make the all-important catch. And when you land, you should always aim to land on both feet for stability, but also to avoid any unnecessary ankle injuries. And most importantly, don't forget to shout. A loud and clear keeper will let your defenders know you got the ball and avoid any nasty collisions. But as someone who's been a goalkeeper for 20 years, I can tell you that not every catch is going to be a magazine cover. Sometimes you gotta wrestle, sometimes you gotta play it smart with a punch, and other times you'll need to explode off 2 feet to claim the ball. And this is especially true when the cross is close to your goal, when you don't have much space to maneuver. Then exploding off 2 feet gives you a lot of control, balance, and power. But you will make mistakes at first, everyone does, and that's okay. Even the best goalkeepers in the world can't reach every cross every time. Sometimes the ball is just too high, too fast, or the area is just too crowded. And speaking of crowded areas, let's move on to punches. And punches are your secret weapon for situations where a clean catch might be risky or impossible. Let's break down the 2 types, starting with the one-handed punch. And one pro tip here is to use your non-punching hand, in this case my left hand, to create space and protect yourself when you're going for the punch. It also helps with balance and guiding your fist towards the ball. And with your punching hand, make a nice solid fist using your knuckles for a firm but controlled punch. And one mistake beginners always make is trying to hit the ball way too hard. Not only is it much more difficult to hit the ball that way, but you also have no control over where it actually goes. So instead of trying to be Mike Tyson, try to use the speed of the ball to your advantage and simply extend your elbow and aim for a clean punch to hit it high and wide. This gives you much better control over where you're punching the ball. You want to knock the ball away safely, not necessarily knock it out of the stadium every time. The one-handed punch is a great tool when you need to guide the ball from one area to another. But what about those super fast crosses coming straight at you to your front area? This is where the two-handed punch comes in. And just like the one-handed punch, this is an effective way to clear the ball when catching isn't possible, but instead of using one fist, we'll now use 2 fists. So bring your hands together, forming a wide, solid surface with your knuckles facing outwards. And before you go for the punch, keep your hands near your chest with your elbows at your sides. This gives you much more control and helps build up momentum for a powerful punch. And to perform a strong two-handed punch, you're not just using your arms. You should always aim to engage your core and back muscles to generate even more power from your entire body. The two-handed punch offers you slightly more power and a larger punching surface, but it also limits your mobility a bit. This is why this punch especially shines when you can attack the ball and punch it out of danger all the way back to where it came from. Punches are a great way to clear the ball out of the danger zone when catching is too risky. But whenever you can, you should always go for the catch. And hey, speaking of catching, if you want to shut down those crosses like a boss, then dive into my next video where I give you all the catching techniques and drills you need to become an unstoppable catching machine. This is Kristian signing off from Ground Glory. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.